My fiance's mother called me at 7 a.m. screaming, "David's in jail right now. Post $25,000 bail immediately or he'll lose his job and the wedding is off." I said calmly, "Then I guess there's no wedding," hung up, blocked her number, and went to make breakfast. 2 hours later, a knock on my door from David's best friend changed everything I thought I knew about the man I was supposed to marry. Let me get straight to it, because this story is insane. I'm Julia Martinez, 29, a software developer living alone in Austin. I'd been engaged to David Patterson for 8 months, and for the entire time, his family has treated me like their personal crisis hotline. His mother, Karen, calls me at all hours for emergencies. His brother, Jake, asks me to cover his rent just this once. His sister, Monica, needs help with her credit card debt. One more time. I always said yes because that's what you do when you're joining a family, right? You help, you support, you prove you're worth keeping around. But that morning at 7 a.m., something in me finally broke. I refused for the first time in 8 months. And what happened next revealed a pattern so twisted, it made me question everything about the man I was about to spend my life with. If you've ever felt like your partner's family saw you as a walking ATM instead of a human being, drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. Where are you watching from? Let me know your city. Now, let's get into what really happened. I'm 29 now, living in a downtown Austin loft I bought myself 3 years ago. And moving here after college was the best decision I ever made. My fiancé, David Patterson, is 31, works in sales, or at least that's what he tells people. His older brother, Jake, is 34, never held a job longer than 6 months. His younger sister, Monica, is 26, constantly starting and abandoning business ventures that somehow always need my financial backing. The second I said yes to David's proposal last New Year's Eve, Karen, his mother, started treating me like I'd signed a contract to fund the entire Patterson family for life. "You're going to be family now, Julia," she'd say with this sweet smile that never reached her eyes. "Family helps family. That's just how we do things." The request started small. $200 here for Jake's car insurance, $500 there for Monica's graphic design course she'd quit 2 weeks later. Then they got bigger. $3,000 for David's credit card debt he swore was from the engagement ring. Except I later found out he'd bought the ring on his mother's credit, not his own. I kept a spreadsheet because at some point I needed to see it in black and white. 8 months of emergencies. $47,000. Every cent earned from my 60-hour work weeks coding applications for a tech startup. Not once did anyone say thank you and mean it. It was expected. It was my duty as the future Mrs. Patterson. Until that Saturday morning when Karen called at 7 a.m. with the biggest ask yet, and I finally said the word I should have said 8 months ago, no. The call came in at exactly 7:04 a.m. I was still in bed, phone on the nightstand. Karen's name flashed across the screen for the third time in 10 seconds. I answered on speaker. "Hello? Julia. Oh my God, Julia, you need to listen to me right now." Karen's voice was pure hysteria. "David's been arrested. He's in Travis County Jail. They're holding him on $25,000 bail." I sat up slowly, rubbing my eyes. "What happened?" "Bar fight in downtown Austin last night. Someone pressed charges, assault." "But it's all a misunderstanding, Julia. You know David would never—" "Karen, it's 7 a.m. on a Saturday. Why are you calling me?" "Because we need $25,000 for bail. His job starts Monday. If he's not out by tomorrow, he'll be fired. The wedding will have to be postponed. Everything we've planned—" I cut her off. "Where's his bail money coming from?" Silence. Then, "We thought, I mean, you have savings. We'll pay you back, obviously. This is just temporary." "No?" The word came out flat and final. "What?" "No, I'm not posting bail." "Julia, this is David, your fiancé, the man you're marrying in 6 weeks. How can you just—" "Then I guess there's no wedding." I hung up, blocked her number, set the phone face down on the nightstand. For a full minute, I sat there in the quiet of my bedroom, waiting for the guilt to hit. the panic, the voice in my head telling me I was a terrible person. Nothing came. I got up, walked to the kitchen, and started making French toast. Real French toast with thick brioche, cinnamon, vanilla extract. The kind that takes time. The kind you make when you have a whole Saturday morning with nothing to fix. By 8:30, I'd eaten breakfast, showered, and was halfway through my second cup of coffee when someone knocked on my door. I checked the peephole. Trevor Ross, David's best friend since college, the best man for our wedding that apparently wasn't happening anymore. I opened the door. Trevor looked exhausted. Dark circles under his eyes, wrinkled shirt, keys still in his hand like he'd driven straight here. "Julia, thank God. Can I come in?" I stepped aside. He walked into my living room and immediately started pacing. "Karen called you, didn't she? At 7 a.m., screaming about bail money?" "And you said no." I said no. Trevor stopped pacing and looked at me. "Good. You should have said no 8 months ago." I blinked. "What?" He ran a hand through his hair. "I need to tell you something. And you're gonna be pissed I didn't tell you sooner. But I thought he'd get his shit together before the wedding. I thought maybe you were good for him. That he'd change." My stomach dropped. "Trevor, what are you talking about?" "David wasn't arrested for a bar fight. He was arrested for check fraud. He wrote $18,000 in bad checks to 3 different casinos in Louisiana over the past 2 months. They finally caught up with him last night when he tried to cash another one at a gas station in Bastrop." I sat down on the couch. "Casinos? He's been gambling since February. Online at first, then road trips to Louisiana every weekend. Told you he was visiting college friends, right?" I nodded slowly. That's exactly what David had said. "Catching up with the guys from LSU. There are no guys. It's just him and whatever blackjack table will take his money. He's down at least $60,000 that I know of. Maybe more." $60,000? Trevor sat across from me. "Karen knows. Jake knows. Monica knows. They've all been covering for him, hoping he'd win it back or that I'd pay it off." "Yeah." I felt the room tilt slightly. "The engagement ring debt I paid off. That wasn't for the ring." "No, that was to cover checks that were about to bounce. The $8,000 for Monica's business idea went straight to David's casino debt. The $5,000 for Jake's car repair? Same." I stared at Trevor. "They've been using me to fund his gambling addiction for 8 months. Since the day you said yes to the proposal, Karen told him if he could lock you down, they'd have access to your income. You make good money. You're responsible. You're the perfect safety net." I stood up, walked to the window, and looked out at the Austin skyline. 8 months, $47,000. All of it a lie. "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because last night David called me from jail, asked me to convince you to post bail, said if I could get you to pay, he'd cut me in on the wedding fund, split whatever cash gifts we got at the reception." I turned around. "He wanted to steal our wedding gifts?" "He's planning to. Karen's already told half the family to give cash instead of registry gifts. They're treating your wedding like a fundraiser for his debt." I felt something cold and sharp settle in my chest. "Get out." "Julia, get out of my apartment now." Trevor stood. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner, I really am. But you needed to know before you married him." He left. I locked the door behind him and stood in the silence of my living room. Then I opened my laptop and started digging. I spent the next 3 hours doing what I should have done 8 months ago. Research. I logged into our shared wedding planning email, found the spreadsheet Karen had created for gifts. She'd listed every invited guest with a column labeled Expected Cash Contribution. The total at the bottom, $43,000. There were notes next to certain names. "Aunt Marie, push for 2K, she's loaded." "David's boss, minimum $500 or he'll look cheap." I screenshot everything. Then I checked David's credit report using the login he'd given me months ago when we were combining finances. 7 maxed out credit cards I'd never seen, 3 loans from payday lenders, a $12,000 personal loan from a company called Fast Cash Now at 37% interest. His credit score, 487. Mine, 788. I screenshot that too. I searched his name in Travis County records, found the arrest report from last night. Check fraud, 3 counts, total amount $18,450, bail set at $25,000. But that wasn't all. There were 2 other arrests from the past year. One in Shreveport for disorderly conduct at a casino. One in Lake Charles for writing a bad check to a hotel. Both times the charges had been dropped. Both times someone had paid restitution. I called Karen's number from my work phone. The one she didn't have blocked. She answered on the first ring. Julia? Oh, thank God. I knew you'd come around. How much have you paid to keep David out of jail before this? Silence. Karen. How much? I don't know what you're talking about. Shreveport last October. Lake Charles in January. How much did you pay? Her voice went cold. That's family business. I'm about to be family. So tell me. She sighed. 15,000 total. We took a second mortgage on the house, but that's not your concern. It is when you expect me to pay the next $25,000. Julia, if you loved my son, if you loved your son, you'd get him into rehab, not cover up his gambling addiction so he can keep destroying his life. How dare you? I'm not posting bail. I'm not paying another cent. And the wedding is off. I hung up before she could respond. Then I called the wedding venue, explained the situation. The event coordinator was sympathetic but firm. Deposits were non-refundable. I'd lose $8,000. I didn't care. I'd rather lose $8,000 than spend the rest of my life losing everything to the Patterson family black hole. I called the caterer. Same story. Another $3,000 gone. The photographer, the florist, the DJ, the cake. Every vendor took their cancellation fee and wished me well. By 2 p.m., I'd canceled an entire wedding and lost $17,000 in deposits. It was the cheapest escape I'd ever bought. My phone started ringing. David's number, I let it go to voicemail, then Karen. Voicemail, then Jake. Voicemail, then Monica. Voicemail, I listened to all of them on speaker while eating leftover Chinese food. David's message. Babe, please, I know I fucked up, but we can fix this. Just get me out and we'll talk. I swear I'll explain everything. I love you. Don't throw away what we have. Karen's message. You selfish, heartless girl. My son is sitting in a cell because you won't help your own fiancé. What kind of woman does that? You're going to regret this. Mark my words. Jake's message. Yo, Julia, come on. David's your boy. He'd do this for you. Don't be like that. Monica's message. I can't believe you're being so dramatic. It's $25,000. You make that in like 2 months. Why are you being so cheap? I deleted all of them. Then I texted my maid of honor, my actual best friend since college, Riley. Wedding's off. David's in jail for check fraud and gambling. His family's been using me as an ATM. I'm done. Riley responded in 3 seconds. Finally. Coming over. Wine? Tequila. On my way. Riley showed up at 4 p.m. with 2 bottles of Patron and a bag of tacos. Okay, she said, pouring shots on my kitchen counter. Tell me everything. I did. The 8 months of requests, the $47,000, the fake emergencies, the wedding gift scheme, the arrest. Trevor's confession. Riley listened without interrupting, pouring another round every time I paused. When I finished, she raised her glass. To dodging a fucking bullet. We drank. You know what the craziest part is? I said. I'm not even sad, I'm relieved. Because you've been carrying dead weight for 8 months. Because I finally put it down. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered on speaker. Julia Martinez? Yes? This is Officer Chen with Travis County Sheriff's Office. I'm calling about David Patterson's bail. I'm not posting it. I understand, but Mr. Patterson listed you as his emergency contact and requested we inform you that his arraignment is Monday at 9 a.m. He's asking if you'll be there. No. Can I pass along a message? Tell him to call his mother. I hung up. Riley poured another shot. You're my hero. I'm just done being everyone's backup plan. We spent the rest of the night watching trash TV and eating junk food. No crying, no regrets, just the strange, weightless feeling of suddenly having my life back. Around midnight, my phone buzzed again. David's sister Monica. She'd posted a video on Instagram. I could see the thumbnail, her sitting in her car crying. Riley grabbed my phone. Don't watch it. I have to know what they're saying. I opened Instagram. The video was 90 seconds of Monica sobbing into the camera. My brother is sitting in jail right now because his fiancé refuses to help him. She makes 6 figures. She could post bail and get him out today. But she's choosing to let him suffer because she's selfish and cruel. David has been nothing but loving and supportive. He bought her a ring. He planned a future with her. And this is how she repays him. If you know Julia Martinez, please tell her what kind of person abandons family when they need help most. The comments were already flooding in. She's trash. Gold digger behavior. David deserves better. Someone needs to expose her company. Riley snatched the phone and blocked Monica's account. These people are insane. They're desperate. They're abusive. She was right. This wasn't love. This wasn't family. This was financial abuse with a smile and a wedding invitation. I took my phone back and opened my notes app. Started typing. Riley watched. What are you doing? Writing everything down. Every request, every lie, every manipulation. If they want to go public, I'll show people the receipts. I spend the next hour documenting 8 months of the Patterson family playbook. Bank transfers, text messages, Karen's spreadsheet, the arrest records. All of it compiled into a single PDF. I didn't post it, but I saved it, just in case. By 2 a.m., Riley was asleep on my couch, and I was wide awake, sitting on my balcony, looking at the Austin city lights. For the first time in 8 months, I felt like I could breathe. No wedding to plan, no family to fund, no bail to post, no lies to believe. Just me and the life I'd built with my own 2 hands. I went to bed at 3 a.m. and slept like the dead. Sunday morning, I woke up at 10 to 73 missed calls and 214 text messages. Karen had escalated. She'd found my work email somehow and sent a message to my entire company directory. Subject: The truth about Julia Martinez. Body: My son is in jail because this woman, your employee, refused to help him in his time of need. She claims to be a professional and a good person, but she abandoned her fiancé when he needed her most. I hope your company knows what kind of people you employ. My boss forwarded it to me with a single line. "Wanna talk?" I called him immediately. "Julia, what's going on?" I explained the situation in under 3 minutes. The gambling, the fraud, the family using me as a bank, the canceled wedding. He was quiet for a moment. And she emailed the entire company? Apparently. That's harassment. I'm forwarding this to legal. We'll handle it. I'm sorry this is affecting work. You have nothing to apologize for. Take Monday off. We'll deal with this woman. I thanked him and hung up. Then I opened the flood of texts. Karen: You're a monster. I hope you know that. My son is suffering because of you. Jake: You really gonna let David rot? After everything? Monica: My video has 400,000 views. Everyone knows what you did. Hope you're happy. David's cousin, his aunt, his former coworker, all sending variations of the same message. You're heartless. You're cruel. You're destroying a good man. I blocked every single number. Then I did something I should have done months ago. I called a lawyer. Her name was Patricia Gomez. She specialized in family law and financial abuse cases. I sat in her office Monday afternoon and laid out everything: the $47,000, the lies, the wedding gift scheme, the harassment. She took notes, nodding occasionally. When I finished, she looked up. This is textbook financial exploitation. You're not married yet, so legally you have no obligation to David or his family. but the harassment is actionable. What can I do? Cease and desist letters to Karen, Jake, and Monica. If they contact you again after that, it's grounds for a restraining order. We can also pursue a civil suit for the money you gave them under false pretenses. How much could I get back? Hard to say. Depends on if you can prove the requests were based on lies. Do you have documentation? I pulled out my phone and showed her the spreadsheet. Every transaction, every text message, every fake emergency. Patricia smiled. This is good. This is very good. We can argue. Fraudulent inducement. They lied to get your money. You might not get all $47,000 back, but we can make their lives difficult. I don't want the money back. I just want them to leave me alone. Then we send the letters, firmly, legally. And if they don't stop, we escalate. By Wednesday, cease and desist letters had been delivered to Karen, Jake, and Monica via certified mail. The harassment stopped immediately. No more calls, no more texts, no more Instagram videos, just silence. David called once from jail on Thursday. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. Julia, I know I messed up. I know I lied. But I'm getting help. There's a program here for gambling addiction. When I get out, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to be better. Please don't give up on us. I listened to the whole thing, then deleted it. Friday afternoon, Trevor texted me. David took a plea deal, 18 months probation, restitution to the casinos, mandatory gambling treatment. He'll be out Monday. Good for him. He's asking if you'll visit. No. Figured. For what it's worth, I think you made the right call. Thanks, Trevor. I blocked his number too. Not out of anger, just out of closure. Everyone connected to David Patterson needed to stay in the past. It's been 4 months since I canceled the wedding. I'm 30 now, still in my Austin loft, still coding 60-hour weeks. But the money I earn is mine. I paid off my car, maxed out my 401k, took a 2-week vacation to Iceland, alone, and didn't feel guilty once. I went on exactly 3 dates, all disasters. But I'm okay with that. I'm learning what red flags look like, learning to trust my gut, learning that family helps family is only true when family treats you like family, not like an ATM. Monica's Instagram is still up, but her follower count never recovered. Last I checked, she was selling detox tea and promoting someone's crypto course. Jake got evicted from his apartment in October. I know because Karen tried to reach out through a mutual acquaintance, asking if I'd consider helping one last time. I said no without hesitation. David finished his probation program last month. I know because Trevor's girlfriend, who I'm still friendly with, mentioned it in passing. He's working at a call center, living with Karen, going to GA meetings twice a week. Good, I said, and I meant it. Not because I forgave him, but because his recovery was never my responsibility. Karen tried one final time in November. A handwritten letter slipped under my apartment door. Julia, I know we hurt you. I know we asked too much, but David is different now. He's sober from gambling. He talks about you all the time. He wants a second chance. We all do. Family is supposed to forgive. I read the letter twice. Then I tore it into small pieces and threw it away. Forgiveness isn't the same as reconciliation. I can forgive them for being broken people who hurt me, but I don't have to let them back into my life to prove it. Last week, I signed up for a pottery class, something I've wanted to do for years but never had time for because I was too busy fixing other people's problems. I'm terrible at it. My bowls are lopsided. My mugs leak. But I show up every Thursday night and try anyway. The instructor, a woman in her 50s with clay permanently under her fingernails, told me last week, "You're getting better, slowly, but that's how it works. You can't rush the process." I thought about that on the drive home. 4 months ago, I was engaged to a man I didn't really know, funding a family that didn't really love me, planning a wedding that would have bankrupted my future. Now I'm alone, free, building a life that's entirely mine. It's not the life I thought I wanted at 29, but it's the life I needed. And for the first time in a long time, That's enough. If this story resonated with you, drop a comment about where you're watching from. And if you're in a relationship where you feel more like a bank than a partner, please know you're not selfish for wanting more. You're not cruel for choosing yourself. You're not a monster for saying no. You're just finally putting yourself first. And that's not betrayal, that's survival. Subscribe for more stories. Because sometimes the people who say they love you are really just using you. And sometimes walking away isn't giving up, it's waking up.